The hottest pop culture stories of the day. Like we've got the latest in the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit. Taylor Swift has not left the chat. Plus, on top of it, rumors of cheating in Sophia Richie's marriage as they go out and about to prove that they're just fine. This is Hot to Go. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Mike.
And we've got an update on a lawsuit we have followed very closely, including, what was it, last week we declared Taylor Swift is fine. We don't have to worry about her getting wrapped up. She was like, here are all my things, and this is why I shouldn't be involved in this lawsuit. I didn't even see the movie until way later. But it's not looking so clear for her now.
Yeah, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the fun that just won't end. Brittany and I went to New York and we get back and Mike's like, did you see what happened? Well, we've only been gone for 48 hours, but from the judge dismissing Justin Baldoni, if you missed it, the judge did dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, plus his $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times for various reasons. But the biggest thing is like, here you go. Everything Blake said in what you are talking about was all protected because it was a complaint filed legally.
Yeah.
You can't use that to sue somebody.
Yeah.
So the judge is like, it's not done. The case isn't over. We're just telling you, you can't use this. You've got a couple of weeks to refile. Now it looks like in this process of refiling, Mike, that this judge is saying, yes, indeed, you can ask for Blake Lively's text messages, as Brittany said, with the one and only Taylor Swift.
Yeah, specifically the communications between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are on the table, and it is reasonable for them to call those messages and to explore those messages. It just has to, again, be something that pertains to the movie. Because there were those rumors and the belief that she used Taylor Swift almost like an intimidating factor, one of her dragons, to get her way on a scene, that rooftop scene, the very popular scene we talked about there. And the judge says those conversations are still definitely on the table and available to call as it pertains to that conversation.
And there's a lot of things around that, too, that they're saying, hey, we will make sure that these messages are protected. There's conversations that this won't be leaked to the public. But again, we know that Taylor Swift does not like this at all because it wasn't even, I think it was, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, where she said, I'm working with you.
Yep.
Here is the facts. Here's how much I don't know, which is all of it. And I didn't post about the video, I made it very clear. I didn't even see the movie until weeks after. Mm-hmm. So she was working really hard to keep my name out your mouth. Lawsuit. And so the fact that it's coming in hard of we're gonna need those texts is not Taylor Swift likey.
Well, it sounds like Blake Lively's attorneys are saying to Justin Baldoni's team, you can have any documents that you want. You please do not take these text messages without using the word please. Yeah. We will give you all the video footage related to the film, full unredacted versions of communication that are listed in all of the complaints, but not these texts, in exchange for you not getting these texts. And his team's like, no, we want those texts.
And the more you know, they're like, and you know that the big reason is Blake Lively is trying to say, I don't want my friend to get involved. Obviously, she's a person who doesn't have much privacy, and the amount that she has, she death grips to. Mm-hmm. And you know that she's feeling that internal struggle of do anything you can to not be in a position where we are digging through texts.
And Lively offered all those other things because she is claiming that the text, she doesn't want to give that up because she's saying it's not central to the case. It has nothing to do with the case. That's her argument. That's her team's argument that this is not central to the case. The judge has ruled otherwise.
Yeah,
he
Judge
thinks it
Lyman's
absolutely going to be a part of it.
He's like, I want to see what her vibe is. Same.
You said there was more to this in the sense that Taylor Swift is not going to be the only big name star that could now come up in this new version of the lawsuit, correct?
Yeah, we got a long list of A-listers, a very who's who of who could potentially be called as a part of this lawsuit. We're being told this is the Wayfair leaked list of potential witnesses. So again, will this actually happen? Will these people actually have to take the stand? We'll see. But here's the name of people we're talking about. Colleen Hoover, obviously, is the top of the list, the author of It Ends With Us. You also have Jenny Slate, who was in it. You've got another co-star, Brendan Skellner, who we've clearly talk. He came out with the support right away of Blake Lively. Maybe backtracked a little bit. Maybe hasn't said as much since. You've also got some other Sean Levy, the guy behind Deadpool and Wolverine. You have Taylor Swift on this list. This is an interesting one. Bradley Cooper.
What?
Bradley Cooper is on this list as well.
Do we know why?
I know there was some, he had a credit, I believe it was a producer credit on, it might have been on Wolverine and Deadpool. There was some way that he was tied into Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And I think that was part of this.
So far, basically the author, the woman, Jenny Slate, who played the sister.
Yep.
And Atlas, the other love interest, Brendan Skellner, and then Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Huh. All I can think is he's dating Gigi Hadid.
Well, there's that as well.
And Gigi is friends with Blake and Taylor.
And yeah. You also have Lively's sister, Robin Lively, of course, hairstylist, makeup artist. You've got 2 different intimacy coordinators that were a part of this film, a bunch of different reporters, including TMZ's Harvey Levin is on this list as well.
What?
The team from WME, who works with the agency. So you got them as well. You've got just a huge list of names, including Megan Towie, who, of course, was from the New York Times. She was a part of that defamation lawsuit that has now been, at this point, thrown out.
The WME part of it is very interesting to me. I'm surprised they weren't part of the initial lawsuit, just because the man who basically runs the talent management side of things within the branch, or else he's above that. Either way, he's a major part of WME, the management agency. He basically said, I'm dropping Justin Baldoni. I'm Team Blake and Ryan. Like, literally, those were his words.
Yeah.
Sorry, Emmanuel. Yep.
Thank you. And so I'm just like, I'm surprised that he hasn't been brought up more before now. All right. In a little bit of a pivot, let's talk about Sophia Richie, because she and her husband of only a little over a year or two, there are some cheating rumors, enough fuel to that fire that they went, we're going to put these to rest, wink, wink, by going on a nice vacation. So the rumors have it that Elliot, her husband, has been cheating on his wife, Sophia Richie. And they've never really addressed it near here nor there until quite recently. They went on a vacation to the same hotel hotel's like such a mild way to put this, hotel that they got married at, which none of us will ever step foot in France. And they posted a bunch of carousels of images on Instagram looking all happy, adorable little photos, kind of putting that to rest. But she's also, people have commented on videos that are showing like, oh my God, he cheated on her. She's been reading the comments, which we say, Sophia, get out of the comments.
Stay out of the comments.
People saying things like that, cheating on her. What am I, Shrek? And like, she should divorce him and take that child support money. She posted actually a pretty funny behind the scenes photo of him like half sleeping, looking really dorky, and her just looking at the camera going, I had to break it to my husband that he's not the people's princess.
She is very funny.
She cheeky. But I don't know how much validity to any of these rumors there are, but they felt the need to go on a vacation to the place they got married
2 years later.
I don't know. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. I feel like he's in the blinds quite a bit and just in general, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's kind of a look to him that feels like he just looks like a playboy, and people like to kind of piece that together. Like, does he ever see somebody and go, they're just a beautiful couple? And I feel like, I don't know. I have yet to see something or read something where I go, this is proof this man's cheating.
Right. I haven't seen anything. Mike, have you?
I haven't, but I have a new goal in life.
What?
I want a celebrity to be reading or watching Blinded by the Item and reacting to it live and saying this is ridiculous, because the same source about where that TikTok video came, that same source is where there may have been or may not have been a Blinded by the Item blind item about that the same time period. And I was so hoping that reaction video was actually her reacting to us talking about it.
Someday,
Blinded by the Item.
Someday,
Sophie,
you'll keep a celebrity up at night.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely something that, like Brittany said, it's been in the blind item a lot. Again, you've got a super loaded rich dude who's from a super loaded rich family, and Playboy talks and those
Yeah.
talks have happened for a while. So it's an easy blind item. It's an easy road to go down. And I think they handled this the best way you could. Him sitting there reading the comments, her just giggling about it. Like, they did the right thing. But it is a little suspect that they also did this trip.
But it was
Same place.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it also could just be a vacation. Call me crazy. We'll see. Only time. There's literally no way to prove he's not cheating until he cheats.
Wait, I didn't realize he was the CEO of Atlantic Records. I knew he was really high up, but he's the CEO.
So yeah, his dad is the CEO of who's the one that they did the lawsuit against Drake does. I'll find all this detail. But yeah, his dad is the CEO of them, and then he's the CEO of Atlantic Records.
Not
I think
RCA.
they own. Is it RCA?
RCA?
Yeah.
Either way.
Universal Music Group. Sorry,
They're both-
Universal Music Group.
Okay.
They both come from music royalties.
Yeah.
So it was like
Right.
one of those things that when they got married, it was, I think 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
I believe,
It was, that's when.
Yeah. It was like spring of 2 years ago. And so when they got married, I mean, it was the biggest talk of the town. It's like these two powerhouses colliding. They're just beautiful, young, wealthy people. And so there's always stuff out there with them.
Lucian Grange is the CEO of Universal Music Group.
A name.
Of course he is.
Lucian.
If you did not know, because some people, we didn't want to leave anybody behind. Sophia Richie's father is Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
So that is why she is also connected to major.
And if you don't know
music
Lionel
family.
Richie, you would probably know Nicole Richie, which is also Lionel Richie's daughter and Sophia Richie's sister.
I mean, they are connected.
You've covered everybody. Yep.
I know.
We
Because like, believe it or not, some people don't know who Lionel Richie
And
is.
if you've watched American Idol, Lionel Richie is one of the judges, along with Luke Bryan and Carrie Underwood now.
And Luke Bryan, who is not Zach Bryan.
He's not Zach Bryan. He's not Zach
But
Brown either. Not
we
to
don't
confuse.
know for how long that'll be. Things
If
can
we
change.
confused everybody, don't worry. There's
Just to
always,
cover.
it's all a circle.
There's two beautiful people that got married and went on a vacation. It's fine.
Clearly he's cheating.
We've been following clearly. And they have a 1-year-old kiddo too. We've been following this couple for a while. Kim Turnbull and Romeo Beckham. Yes, Romeo Beckham of the Beckham family. The conversations that we've had around Kim Turnbull is a lot of why we think there's a big divide in the family, or why people have speculated there's a big divide in the family. As we know, she just of like a day ago or 2 days ago, she broke up. Her and Romeo Beckham broke up. Now, there was a big conversation that she had originally had her eyes on a different brother in the family, Brooklyn Beckham. Brooklyn Beckham, and she's never publicly said anything about it, but there were conversations those two dated for a little while, and then she ended up dating Romeo. Well, not only is she speaking out saying, hey, me and Romeo have broken up, and I want to speak out on this for the first time ever. I have never been romantically involved in any capacity at any point with the person in question. She's talking about, obviously, Brooklyn Beckham. Nothing between us had occurred further than a school friendship at age 16. I would like to remove myself from the ongoing conversation and set the record straight for the sake of everyone involved.
Okay. Well, I'm very curious more than anything how Brooklyn Beckham and his wife, Nicola Peltz, are going to react to this, because they've been saying, at least in the beginning of this family rift, and people started noticing, why is Brooklyn never in photos with all the family? Why didn't he attend his dad's 50th birthday that everybody, including
Tom Cruise,
came to? So it's like, it's kind of been the rumor at first, at least, that, well, it's because my brother's dating this Kim Turnbull, and I don't like that.
But he never publicly said that.
No, but that was always the rumor. That kind of leaned into it.
Yeah, there was conversations around that. And then I think one of the conversations where they didn't verbalize that these two, that Brooklyn had dated him, but they just didn't trust this girl because, they alluded like Kim is not to be trusted.
Why is she trying to date another brother in this family? Da, 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 da. And that was, it was always the behind the scenes. Like they definitely alluded and played into the fact that would be the reason why.
Yeah.
It's a scapegoat.
Yeah. At least to a smaller scale, they're just saying they don't like her.
Right. So now that she's out of the picture, okay, Brooklyn, does that mean that everything's fine? It's interesting because it's almost like he and his wife Nicola read the tea leaves. Like they were like, oh, my brother Romeo is definitely going to break up with Kim.
Yeah.
That's kind of been our excuse this whole time, because within the last week, all of a sudden we've been getting a lot of rumors and stories fed from his side, and then people will run something about how great the Beckhams are from their side about the wedding that happened years ago.
Yeah, and like you're saying, is that the conversations from Brooklyn's team is that the Beckhams are actually monsters. They've always been monsters. They've treated me horribly my whole life, and like, thank God I have my wife now because she's the only family I can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not directly ever coming from them.
No,
it's like insiders report.
It's so.
We've heard a lot of rumblings that this was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back type of a situation. Like this was a situation where this family is already ready to go.
Yeah.
And then this relationship just happened to be like, oh, now we can go with it. I will say Romeo Beckham responded. Romeo went to social media after she posted this. And let me tell you what Romeo said.
Mm-hmm.
He went and posted a picture of Audrey Hepburn's character from Roman Holiday and recited the line from that movie, what the world needs in return to sweetness and decency. And then he added the line, be nice to people and don't tell unnecessary lies. This could be one of two things. I want to get both your opinions on it. He did this immediately after Kim Turnbull posted what she posted. Was he saying Kim is telling unnecessary lies? Or is he saying, I'm supporting what Kim is saying. My brother is telling unnecessary lies. We need to get back to more decency. He's saying one thing or the other. I don't know which it is.
Well, it'd be weird if she was attacking his, we're talking about the Beckhams, and we're talking about, more importantly, Romeo Beckham in his ex Kim Turnbull. It'd be weird if Romeo was talking about Kim, because the only thing she's confidently saying is, I didn't date Brooklyn.
So he's either saying you're lying about that and you did date my brother.
Which is a narrative, like, it would be weird for him to admit that now, because he's been denying that for so long too.
Which initially everybody ran with, oh, he's calling Kim a liar.
Yeah.
Because why would he put this out immediately after? I think he's actually going the other way, saying, Kim's telling the truth.
Yeah.
We need Brooklyn to stop lying.
Intriguing.
It definitely feels more like that.
Yeah.
Because I think if he was calling out his ex, wouldn't he just call out his ex?
Wouldn't he just call out his ex?
Would you just be like we broke up and she did date my brother and it was stupid?
A 22-year-old Nepo baby is not just going to call somebody out. He is going to lean into it.
I'm surprised, honestly, from the stock that he comes from. We're even hearing anything from him.
Yeah.
But again, they're messy boots, and in a way that their parents would never be.
It gives and gives and gives. But I mean, I think if social media would have been around in the age of when David Beckham was David freaking Beckham and Posh Spice was Posh freaking Spice, it would have been a little messy boots too. Because don't you remember when the beginning of their marriage, there was massive infidelity rumors. Like there were specific people to this day say that I had an affair with David Beckham.
But they've never addressed it. I mean, they've had opportunities
I think if there had been social media,
I don't know.
Have because I think that they would have, somebody would have spilled some tea while drunk in a bar.
I'm just saying, like, they are very much so English royalty, and this is not their style to air out anything. And so the fact that now we've got generations of younger kids, like, from this world, it's funny to see, because it's like they're infiltrated by their, social circles where they talk. But I don't think the Beckhams, if they would have had social media, Posh Spice would have been posting maybe a picture of herself posing without making, any wrinkles on her face. But I don't think she would ever go on social media and be like, I want to address David's cheating.
I think David would put I think back when he was in his 20s, he would have put something cryptic online while drunk in a bar with his football buddies.
I disagree, but we'll never know.
None of us want social media back when we were younger, but could you imagine if social media was a thing during the TRL era?
Oh, my God.
What we would get from like Eminem and Fred Durst and Christina Aguilera and Britney, all of that. Mariah, throw her in the.
Oh my God, Mariah.
It'd be so good.
It'd be so good.
So dirty.
Especially too, yes, amazing.
The Lindsay Lohan of it all. When Misha Barton, Lindsay Lohan,
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sophia Richie, not Sophia Richie.
Or even like when
Richie.
B. Spears and Christina Aguilera, they always claimed they weren't fighting, but we know you were fighting. We know we hated each other. Like,
you were Team Christina or Team Brittany. Duh.
yeah, it was a divide. Okay. Speaking of back in the day, Miley Cyrus, she jumped on her podcast with her sister and her mom, Tish, and it's the Sorry We're Cyrus podcast. Don't worry, you don't have to listen because Miley's only on it once in a while, but she did tell us about back in the day when she was Hannah Montana herself. She would have these moments where Billy Ray would be hanging out because he played her dad on the show. Well, he would partake in marijuana. Yes, he would get very high. And no one's shocked if you've seen the show. You go, that makes sense overall for everything about him. Well, there was a time where Tish came and said, yeah, I showed up and in your dressing room, it smelled like weed. And I said, Miley Cyrus, how dare you? To which Miley tried to say, no, that was my dad. And Tish said, he would never. And again, blind love. We've all been there. We've all been like, it's so much so where Miley'd be like, fine, mom, it was me. But there was like always this conversation. She would go and like, I don't know what to say, mom. It's not me.
Wink, wink.
It's not me, mom. And like to the point where, and then a lot of times one of the stars, Mitchell Musso, I guess he was big into smoking weed too. So she'd always be like, Miley and Mitchell, it's you guys smoking weed. And she's like, to be honest, Mitchell definitely was smoking weed with my father, but it wasn't me, doll. Like,
they were so young too. He was the brunette, like her brunette friend bestie.
Okay.
It's like kind of skinny, awkward.
He wasn't the older brother. Okay. I thought maybe he was the older brother just because I was hoping. Because like,
no.
Also, here's the thing too. How chill can you be as a person to not only smoke weed, but go smoke weed and be filmed and do like, I know they're not doing Shakespeare, but like the level of like paranoid that would kick in when there's like a camera following you and you're high.
You just have to be so
different breed.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's a different breed. It's just, I could never,
the confidence.
Right? I'd be like, everyone here knows I'm high. Should I hold 2 mugs to hide it?
Can you see my eyeballs? Should I put on sunglasses? That'll help, right? It'll definitely help. Got chips over there?
I'd be like, everyone thinks I'm high, right? And they'd be like, why did you say that? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not high.
I'm panicking.
Do you guys know Marlee Matlin? She just recently had an interview where she said, listen, I lived with this very, very famous person for 2 years, not in a weird way, they kind of saved me. She had just split up from her abusive boyfriend and had just gone to rehab and came out and was a famous actress at this point, but still really young. When she said she ended up at Henry Winkler's house.
What?
He was going to just stay. She was just going to stay for the weekend. He was going to help her out. But then he ended up letting her live with them for 2 years. She said he and his wife treated her like she was one of his kids. She's like, I had to clean my room every day. I had meals with their kids every day. And she's like, Henry is my second dad. He's been just like a huge mentor to me my whole life because they met when she was only 12.
She's the deaf actress from Coda. Yeah, I was like, I know this name, but I can't place her. And I'm like, oh yeah, she was the lead in Coda.
She is. I was going to say she is. If you were thinking the same thing Brittany did, she is the first deaf person to win an Academy Award. So she's a pioneer in the industry that she's in. And this interview was so interesting because she goes on to talk about after like the Henry Winkler part, she talked about how when she went to rehab after being in this abusive relationship, she said it helped, but I had to pay for my own interpreter. I had to do all these things out of pocket because nobody was talking about like assisting folks who
accessibility.
Accessibility. Thank you. A really great interview, but I'm like, she lived with Henry Winkler.
He is. Why is he the safest person? Like the safest king? Like I think of anything I've ever been through. I'm like, of course I'd want to end up at Henry Winkler's home. Amazing. Well, that's your hot to go. It was both hot and ready to go. Hope you like, subscribe, comment, all the things.